Today's video we'll be looking at the Tomy Kongman. This obviously is heavily based on Donkey Kong and the popularity of the time. This game, even though this is the Kongman version, it has been done a few times. There's a Sonic the Hedgehog one, and I can't remember for the life of me what the other one's called, but this is the one that I'm most familiar with back in the 80s, and probably what a lot of yourselves are familiar with as well. The trouble with this game, as it stands at the moment, does not work. Absolutely nothing happening. When you turn the dial, put the battery in, try cleaning the terminals. You'll see in a sec when we open it up or look at the front. See the timer, the little timer button's missing there. That's in the back. Again, you can't put it in without taking the whole thing apart. So first things first was just to make sure. So I kept all the parts in the battery compartment for now, just to keep it all safe, stop it getting lost in the box. So that's the little stand for Kongman himself to sit on. That's the dial, and then that's the little balloon guy. So just put that in there without trying to break it. And as you can see, that needs to go in through the back. There's no way that's going to go in on the front there. Yep, Kongman just sits on the top. Enough playing around with it. Let's get a battery in there and just see what it does. Oh, there goes the balloon. Again, I don't know whether it's down to the age of this or what, but that balloon really does not want to stay in there. Slightest little bit of movement. It's fine when the game's actually playing, but if you tilt it a little bit, it just wants to come off for some reason. As you can see though, nothing happening, so time to take it apart. So obviously I've sped this up. These are just crosshead screws, all the same length, so no need to worry about what order you put them back in. Comes the fun part. Making sure they're all out. That little one there giving a little bit of hassle. Off comes the top. And you gotta be careful because obviously the battery is connected still, or the battery compartment, should I say. Yep, found a couple of balls actually inside the thing. Test the bell. Nothing else, that's working perfectly. So first thing is to test the voltage. So you can see I'm getting 1.6 volts there. So we've definitely got a good connection on our battery compartment. So next thing, just take this apart. As you can imagine, it's one motor doing the whole mechanism here, so it is quite a complicated little system. In fact, a few of the Tomy games seem to be quite intricate like this. So just removing the gearbox there. As you can see inside, all the various gears. So if I remove that one, as you can see, that's got a metal insert on it which makes contact to them metal plates there, and that is what activates the game or activates the motor. So just in for a closer look here, you can see that sits on the top of there. So that's what will rotate Kongman himself. Yeah, just here I was just making sure I knew exactly where that went in, because it goes in this tiny little plastic hole there. You can see it. That's where that particular gear sits in. Because again, it's always better to take a photo of this before you take it apart, because it can be an absolute nightmare getting it back together again, as you will see shortly. You would think it would go straight forward, but no, not a bit of it. So just going to remove all the gears here. Again, as you can see, a lot of the gears have sub-gear underneath them. All quite intricate. So now we're going to test the motor by turning that. See if we're getting voltage to the motor.
Interesting.
So as you can hear, the motor is actually working, but it just sounds horrendous. Okay, just turning the wheel. You can see it turns the power off and turns the power back on again. Yeah. Yeah, and there's just a close up again of that metal wheel that goes on the inside, which makes the contact with them two pins. And apart from that, a very simple kind of game, really. Just that battery just powers that motor. So I got a replacement anyway, and seeing as that motor's been in there probably since the mid 1980s, I thought best to just change it out. Just gonna remove the motor here. Making sure, keeping a track of where the cabling was going on there as well, because again, as you can see in the plastic casing, they've kind of made a little cable way for it. And again, just doesn't hurt to make a note of where cables go to. So remove the battery, start the soldering iron. Now again, depending on what you're doing, depends on what heat you want your soldering iron at. I mean, this is quite old solder on here, so hopefully that should be about right. Just going to test it. So just tin the end of the soldering iron first and clean it off. Again, another thing I like to do is just remove one wire at a time and put it over onto the new component. Just that way, then you can't really lose track of what you're doing. Take the gear off as well, because again, if this isn't going to come off, or if this breaks, so just gently easing it off. It's just a pressure fit onto the shaft there. And again, put my finger over the top just to make sure it doesn't ping off off the table. That's it, fits on the new motor nicely. Desolder the next one. get both of these wires soldered in place. So looking at, I got about 374 degrees C on the soldering iron there. Now, if you remember how the old motor sounds? Yeah. Putting that on before I forget it. Put all the cables back in place. Start putting the gear in back. Again, as you can see here, even though I roughly know where they go, it's still a little bit of a challenge. Get the gearbox back together again. Now just making sure everything's turning the way it should be. Yeah, so that's all good. We're happy with that. Now comes the fun part. As you can see right now, nothing at all is moving on the front, so obviously something's not connected right. On this game you've got two settings as well. One's a timer mode and one's a continuously on mode. I don't know how anyone's supposed to finish the game with the timer on mode, and this timer's broken on this because it seems to go so quick. So as you can see for the stairs there, it's got a little slot there and a little locating nodule there. Got to make sure them two line up, otherwise them stairs ain't moving anywhere. That will just spin around behind it, and yeah, nothing happens at all. So there we go, we've got the stairs moving. Nothing else moving yet because we've got to put more of the mechanism back in. So now that's going to be Kongman. So he's turning lovely. Now for the rest of the mechanism. Now this is where it gets interesting. So you'll see there's several ways of doing this wrong before you can get it right. So this is my first attempt. And you can see what's happening there. So technically the game would still work like that because it would lift the ball up, but it's that drop down and eventually that's just gonna damage that pin behind anyway. See the little kind of arrow shaped nodule. Initially, because it's been a long time since I played this game, I did put it all back together again.
So
but you can see the bridge isn't right, and at the moment the parachute thing looks like it isn't working
right
again.
there.
Calling it a parachute, it's a balloon. Indeed. So take it apart again. Right. So now let's see what's happening with that mechanism. So again, them two spots have got to go again into two sliders. So a little bit more of a closer look at that. You can see the two nodules there. And you've got your one slider there and your one slider there. That it's got to, both of them nodules have got to meet up with them. So the top one there moves a magnet. That bottom one there moves a balloon. So you see. So you can see that securely in place. Now again, at this point, I'm not really acknowledging that top one is not really moving properly. It should be going all the way to the top. But again, why not? Let's put it all back together again, see what we got. Because as soon as you run it, you sort of realise straight away there's still something not quite right with it. So switch it to on. So now the bridge is still not moving right. But the balloon part is working, but again not properly. Another great thing, notice, so that was one of the balls that was inside of the machine. Okay. As you can see what just happened there, that ball went flying off. But the good thing also, quickly to mention with these stairs, it's kind of got like a bit of a slipper clutch behind there. Originally I thought this should have some backing to stop the ball from doing that. Turns out that ball is completely the wrong size, and again what happens is, chances are if you buy this game, the ball bearings that come with it aren't going to be the original ones. In which case, you know, they are just going to fall through. If they fall through, you know they're not the right size. So I did measure up the balls actually needed for this. That's it. Another quality, got the ball out there. So again, have another look at this mechanism. From the back this time, just to see what's going on. And as you can see, that white arrow should be going up and down. It shouldn't be disengaging at the top and then re-engaging at the bottom. Again, the issue here is timing. You've got to have that motor at the bottom. So as you can see as it's rotating around, so that needs to be at the bottom before you set everything up. So at the moment we still don't have it right, and you can see pushing past that, which again is another safety mechanism to stop you destroying the game really, if it does have an issue. But again, leaving it like that, eventually that little white arrow would just break off, because obviously it's not designed to take that much stress continuously. So I think on this one here I've actually worked out now where that top part's got to go. So if you watch that top mechanism, that's the one with the magnet. So yeah, when we put the ball there, see it sticks and then it kind of goes up the magic wall. So again, you can see that's where it stops right now, so clearly not going up high enough. So now that is correct. So again, have another go at putting this back together again. So, put it back together, and as you can see now, we're getting it going up and down, but you're getting that jumping at mainly at the bottom, but you can hear it at the top as well, where it's overriding. Again, still not quite in the right position. see the ball mechanism's now in the correct spot at the top there, so that magic wall's going to work fine. But that jump is definitely not going to help things. And you see now what the mechanism's doing at the back. So it's engaging in, it should be in that middle section, but it shouldn't be disengaging when it gets to the bottom. So again, this is attempt 3 at putting it back together again and getting everything moving correctly. So we're happy with that movement, but now it's just getting that, see, I've just moved that to the bottom position. So that little flywheel at the bottom is right at the bottom. Put it back together again. Fingers crossed this time it should work, but it can be very frustrating because again you kind of put it back together again, you think, oh, it's just going to re-engage itself properly.
That's all independent of that.
That looks good. Still not right. You see that top arm there is hitting the side of the casing. So here we go, attempt 4. I think at this point I've realised it's still not going to be the right spot, but we give it a try. Oh, no, hang on a sec. Oh, no. No, still hitting the side. So as you can see, right now you shouldn't be able to do that. The little white arrow should be in there holding that. So I think it's at that point I realised I need to come down a little bit further. So there you go. So I've driven it all the way to the bottom. Now I'm going to move the mechanism down. So now that's how it should be, right in the down position. Put it back together again. And hey presto. No clicking. Moving how it should do. You can see the arm at the top's got a full swing on it. Balloon's moving nicely, no jumping on that balloon. And you can see the mechanism now where it's sitting. So it's sitting in between the two notches and not jumping out. Also got the bridge correct now.
Yay, success.
And again, one of the reasons for doing this video is specifically for this. I've had a look on YouTube, couldn't find anything anywhere, and I thought if someone else has to take this game apart, there's so many ways to put it back together wrong. And you see the timer here. So this is how much time you've got to get from the bottom to the top. I'm not sure whether that's correct or not, but then at the same time it kind of looks like it is. But yeah, if anyone can do it that quickly, good for them. So just got to put it back together now. I'm happy with that. Put Kongman back on the top, back in his rightful place. Balloon guys. And we're all good. Another mistake you could make, potentially, if you've got the motor running the wrong way, the Kongman at the top there has to be going in an anti-clockwise direction.
Too small the ball bearing.
So this is still using the wrong size ball bearing here at the moment.
Now if I tilt this ball a little bit.
As you can see, just getting jammed again. Measuring the ball bearings that came with the game, you can see they measure up at about 9.5 mil, which is approximately 3/8 inches or whatever that nonsense is supposed to be in inches on my calipers there. So I ordered these balls. These are 11 mil. Now this is the correct size for the game, which again works out to that nonsense, or in real money, 7/16 inches. So as you can see now, the big difference using the right ball for the game. Basically, there's no way that ball can fall through them slots at the back. Again, when looking through, doing some research online to try and find out that ball size, you can see now, look at that, goes up the stairs, lovely. Looking for that information online, I couldn't find it anywhere, so in the end I just bought from a eBay seller. I think it was like 2 balls for £5, but then once I knew what the size was, I got like a pack of 10 on Amazon for again about the same sort of money. So as you can see, I'm doing a brilliant job at playing this game, but again I've got to test out the whole thing just to make sure it is actually all working and it is possible to win the game. Yeah. Then I remembered why I hated this game so much back in the day. It can be very frustrating. It's great when you do it, but oh my goodness, look at it. Ah, the frustration, the pure frustration of it. There we go. Right, this is fun. Up you go. Hoopla. Perfect. A very clever mechanism. Again, this is another fun part, trying to get it into the balloon. Yeah, eventually. Drops it round the back, comes out there. Pressing that little paddle on the bottom, just moves it across. So you've got to move it across to the magic wall. Magic wall picks it up, drops it in. Next thing, you've got to fire it on Kongman. Now you see, if Kongman was going clockwise, it will never drop in there. It's got to drop in there to hit that little bell. So now I thought I'll try and do it all in one go. And I can only tell you the amount of hours I spent before I got this actual take. Without the ball falling out, dropping back down. Even there it drops back down a few times, but at least it doesn't drop all the way back to the beginning. Ah yes, pure frustration. There we go. Go on. Get up. Butter. Butter. Yes, done it. And then into the balloon. Goes round the back, into there, across, up the magic wall, and then under Kongman. And back to the beginning.
Skills.
Job done.